Did the authors achieve what they set out to do? Yes, the authors did achieve what they set out to do. The objective of this paper was to enable high-density multi-tenancy for cloud gaming servers with dynamic cost-benefit GPU load balancing. When compared to other approaches that existed when the paper was created, DJ achieved an improved multi-tenant density of 4 times the max. More, according to a cloud gaming source provider, according to the paper's authors. DJ utilizes 4 major parts that work together to create good cloud gaming experience. As a recap, here are the names of and their descriptions. DICE sends user input into 2 concurrent instances. Both instances are different for their rendering visual output quality alone. DPROF is responsible for measurement costs and maps the cost to the graphical object. The estimated cost of a novel scene can be calculated based on the graphical objects it has. The graphical object data used comes from the active object list, which lists graphical object types used to render the frame. Each object is measured for a per object benefit, and statistical regression models are used to obtain the cost to object mapping. With DS, the utility estimation and potential object lists to prepare for future objects that a player could encounter. For DOP, DOP uses DS data to create a utility maximizing assignment of rendering settings to session and increases the newly created settings to the corresponding sessions. DJ versus the server. DJ's approach is more efficient than a server that statistically provisions for the worst case scenario, where every player visits complex scenes for every gaming session. DJ uses the resources that are needed and when they're needed. If a player encounters changes in the game that increases or decreases the need for resources, DJ can adjust efficiently. Because servers prepare the worst case scenario in preparation for a player to encounter it, in order for a player to encounter it in the future, its resources are wasted for every moment a player does not visit the worst case scenario area of the game. This paper was created with the assumption that 30 frames per second was always met for the server. Players prefer 30 FPS as the acceptable frame rate for an enjoyable game session. Oh, sorry. Is the paper well organized and presented? Yes, the paper is well organized and presented. The paper caters to readers who have some knowledge of computer terminology. The paper explains what cloud gaming is for those who are unfamiliar with the concept. The paper helps us imagine how DJ render objects with dprof, which uses active object lists, a list containing concurrent objects in the frame, and potential object lists, a list with potential objects that a player can encounter. Just to revise. DJ's effect, okay, the paper breaks down and explains how DJ evaluates each object in a game and uses its resource accordingly, all the way to its map. The paper gives us a series of visual images to further assist the reader and concepts mentioned. What did we learn from this paper? I read this paper with my group early in the class, so I learned how cloud gaming consisted of a server that houses applications instances that changes how traditional gaming operates. This approach allows the player to transmit user input to the server and display server output. I've personally wanted to know how this worked since I was younger because I played a variety of video games. Cloud gaming seems like what online gaming, like mass multiplayer online role playing games or MMORGs, could benefit the most from. I haven't played one in years, but when I did play the MMORG MapleStory, there were times that I had to wait for a long time for the newest game patch to be installed on my computer. When I missed a few game patches, the wait time was so bad I could watch a movie and come back to check on it to see if it to see that it wasn't finished yet. I can't remember the exact frames per second I had when I was installing the patches. It too could have been a cause for the patch installation sluggish speed. This paper confirmed a suspicion I had years back when I played MapleStory. The frames per second speed count for comfortable gaming experience. While playing online games in general, I've noticed that they all have a lowest graphic setting that can change to a higher one. So with DJ, that's not a new thing for me.